So I'm back. We took a few weeks off. We had a death in the family and took a few weeks off from filming. But I really, of course, I've still been working on the farm. Not as much as I was, but I've been here. So I want to show you what we're doing, and I will call it an experiment. So my pastures are completely overgrown. I've talked about this a couple of times, but I followed the typical Panamanian method of reseeding the pasture, except that I didn't use chemicals. And here they use a lot of chemicals. And it was a disaster because I dug up the entire seed bank of all the weeds. And today they are cutting down the weeds. The sheep have been in these pastures and eating what they can. There is a lot of grass, but there's also a lot of weeds. And they have been eating around the weeds. Let me show you. This is what the pasture looks like. And I don't know that you could see the height, but some of those weeds are probably 5 feet tall at this point, back there. And a lot of them are covering up the grass that is in here. And the grass isn't growing. So let me tell you why it's an experiment. So we're cutting it down for two reasons. One, it's the rainy season has ended. It's all going to die back anyway. And two, we are trying to make sure there aren't any snakes in here. And they're more likely to like it in here if they could hide in the high weeds. Welcome to my little tropical farm. Okay, so now I'll show you what I'm doing in this small pasture because it takes a lot more time. I've been working on it for days. I only do a little each day, but now that the rainy season has ended, it is going to get harder because the ground is going to get really hard and I won't be able to pull up the weeds. But as you can see, this pasture has a lot less, although none. I've been working mostly on this side, pulling the weeds. Now, you can see there's probably a lot more grass starting to come up, but there's still a lot of weeds. But among the weeds are grass, and the sheep should be able to get in here, trying to walk on paths that they've used. That back pasture I won't get to this year, so they will cut that. But here you can see what it looked like. It's the plants are a little different over here than the other pasture for some reason. These pull out pretty easily, but I hope you can see in this video the difference on this side versus this side. So I'm pulling the weeds. Hopefully much less of them will come back next year. Whereas I think on the other side, it will be just as bad next year or close to it as this year. Hopefully without many of the leaves and no rain, they will die off and not come back as fast as the grass. But I don't know. Like I said, it's an experiment. And this is I'm not gonna get this whole field done, I don't think, because the ground will get hard. But I'm pulling up about 2 or 3 wheelbarrows a day on the days that I'm here. Yesterday I didn't do it because I went to see some friends. And but that gives you a good idea of our little experiment. And again, some of the weeds are very easy to pull right now, and some are not coming out. The ones that I really can't pull up, I'm ignoring, and I will eventually probably cut those back just to give me a break. And when I come in here with the dogs, I pull things and just leave them sometimes. I'm running out of space. I have 2 composts. I have back in the chicken area, primarily a compost of sheep manure. I have thrown some bad oranges in there, which maybe isn't ideal because those have bugs and I'm not sure if it's getting hot enough to kill them. But I did clean up under one of the orange trees because that should help my oranges next season. And then I have a second compost over there that is next, kind of in front of the sheep shelter, catty corner to the sheep shelter, where I'm putting all the things that I really don't want. I will not put those in my plants, but maybe I'll use that soil once it becomes soil, once it degrades and decomposes to something useful. But that's where all of this is going because I don't want to take a chance. So I'm going to set this up, hopefully, and see if you guys can watch me weed a little. It's not fun, but I like the result, so I'm okay with it. Let me show you them taking down the coconuts because I can't do it. They do a really good job. So first they prepare a good stick, usually with a fork at the top. And there they bring it down. And then you can watch him open it.
Sí, ¿verdad? Sí, sí tiene.
Okay, so here he's taking down some more. He just bangs them really hard, and the ones that are ready come down. So these are green coconuts, pipas verde, y el otro, pipas amarillo, que es mejor. ¿Sí?
Nancy, el vaso.
Sí. He just asked me to get a glass. I think for me. ¿Solo uno o tú necesitas?
No, para ti y para nosotros podemos, ¿no? Para ti
Gracias.
y más para Nancy.
Delicioso.
¿Está fresca?
Sí.
Ese para los riñones y
Sí.
te pone a harinar mucho, mucho.
Oh, ¿verdad? It takes a lot of strength to keep your arms up high and push that big heavy stick up into the coconuts. I can't do it. Another thing he was just telling me about the coconuts is the green ones are better for drinking the coconut water, and the yellow ones are better for coconut oil, and I make coconut flour when I make coconut oil, but you can also make sweetened coconut flakes and that kind of stuff. So he said the yellow are better because they're bigger. So we'll see. I'm going to try and find some of those. But for those, you use the older coconuts, not the fresh, young coconut. With the rainy season over, we start our mornings with the puppies in their playroom. They're both using the restroom. And then we've moved the sheep to a new pasture. They're debating whether they're going to go that way right now. But they have been moved to a new pasture. I don't really force them, although I may need to start to do so. Because right now they're really overgrazing this area. I don't know what these two are waiting for. Come on, girls. Oh, girl and boy. But we moved them in here. It hasn't been used in a long time, so there's a ton of grass. And typically in the morning when they're in a new area, this is day 4 in this area. But when they're in a pretty new area and there's a lot to eat, they go right into it. They check the other areas. Now I have to wrap that tree because they're just destroying it. So I'll do that this morning. And I'm not sure what I'm going to wrap it with, but I'll do something this morning for that tree. There's a couple other trees they're eating. They ate all the leaves off, the lower leaves on that one. I'm fine with that. That tree was actually cut down and is regrowing. So if they want to eat that, that's fine. But this tall one, I'd rather they didn't destroy it like they are. We can go closer and see. Something about this type of tree, they love the bark, and I'm not sure why. But they're eating 2 of them, and the other one's in really good shape. Come on, girls. They've just about eaten the whole bottom, so I'm not sure it's going to survive. And then they're attacking that one. So I'll wrap that one first. I might just have to use my shade cloth that I've been saving for the covered garden and buy another one. It's not inexpensive, but I do want to protect those trees. Part of the reason I haven't brought that back in here was I had cacao trees and they were growing back and they died off. But originally the sheep had eaten them. So check their water. They need more water. And then I'll take care of the chickens. Okay, I have the trees kind of protected. This one I definitely need to put a pole over here because they could still get at the tree. This one could use a few poles just to keep them away, keep the fence a little sturdier. They will try and walk through it. They typically get stuck, or some of them get stuck. And so I'm not sure about leaving them in here. I mean, there's so much grass. They could easily stay in here another 3 or 4 days. But I'm not sure about leaving them in here that long if I leave the farm. I'm not going anywhere today. I don't think I'm going anywhere tomorrow. But if I leave, oh yeah, I am, briefly. If I leave the farm, they could get stuck. One of the little ones, I closed them in here the other day because I wanted them to stop overgrazing this area. And one of the little ones, they pushed down the fence and one of the little ones got stuck. So these fences are not ideal without the electricity, but they help. The beginning of next rainy season, I'll put a permanent fence here. I might have to figure out how to fence around the trees to protect them if they're still alive by then. They might not make it through the dry season because they've been so badly eaten, but we'll figure that out. And yeah, they're eating a lot of stuff. But we'll figure it out and we'll keep fighting the battle. The sheep are playing. That's what I'd call it. I don't know what they're doing. They keep going over and trying to get through these fences. So I'm really going to have to keep an eye on this all day today. I had a few extra corner posts that I used to stabilize the fences a little more. And I'm using some I don't know what these are, rebar. That's what they are. Not something I use very often, but I have a bunch of it. And this one is very shaky. So I have some small rebar. I have some like 10-foot rebar that I can probably cut in half and use. But for now, we'll see how this will hold. I have a feeling it won't hold extremely well, but we'll see. Let's see. I was trying to show you what I was doing, but the grass is so thick the camera won't stay on. So, like I said, hopefully this will hold. They're going to push on it. If I have to, I'll get the trimmer and see if I could trim underneath it. There is some damage to these fences, but I think the majority of the damage is the bottom rung. I'm gonna fix that, the bottom string, and I have to repair those, but I think that string is not electric anyway, so I'm sure it's not electric. So I will test these if I have to. Now, they could still get stuck in it, so if I do put on the electricity until they're trained, I need to be really careful. I think I've said this in other videos, but normally they will train an electric fence against like a wall, a wooden fence. I don't have that here because of the rain and humidity. They don't use a lot of wood. So there's so much metal throughout the farm that I cannot use these to, there's no place for me to train. The few places where there's cement, there's an extended cement floor, so I can't do it there. And you really need to put it kind of up against something so that when they touch it, they don't run forward and get stuck in it, they back up. And that trains them to, if they were to hit the electricity, to back up. I just don't have a way to do that here. So that's where we're at. I think I'm gonna put one more piece of rebar. I might just take that 10-foot rebar and just stick it in there for now. And I can always cut some later. It's not something I want to do at 7 in the morning. And I have a lot of cleanup to do this morning out here. So they're now all eating grass and leaving the trees alone. We'll see how long that lasts. That might just be because I'm in here. I only see 10 of them. Where's my last sheep? I'm missing one. Huh. Oh, I see her. Back behind the tree. One of the... Yeah, that is Ruby. Back behind the tree. So they're all here. I swear a big part of farming is counting. Not that that's hard. But I'm always counting the sheep when I move them, when they go in, to make sure everyone's included. Now they're going to follow me, which is not what I want. And I do the same with the chickens when they go in at night. They're going to their shelter. Another thing I'd like to stop, but that is where they go to lie down. And chew their cud. I'd rather they didn't, because that means I have to clean up the poop there. I don't know where she's going. I thought that was where she was going, but it's not. Maybe she's checking the other pastures to see if they're open. I don't know why they wouldn't spend a whole lot more time in there, but yeah, they're trying to go to the other pasture. Maybe because they want to eat some more trees. I have no idea. But I'm going to leave them for a few minutes. I need to clean up their shelter, which I do every day. And normally they would go over here. Look at her pushing through. No, I gotta lock that. Move over. Okay, so a few days have gone by since I showed you the guys cutting the pasture with their machetes. And I'll show you what the pastures look like now, just to give you an idea. I actually locked the one pasture up so that the sheep wouldn't get in there, but let me go in there and give you a close-up, and then I'll show you what the pasture I've been weeding looks like. So here is the pasture. So this is the pasture that they cut with a machete. So it looks good. We should get some more grass growing up now that the weeds aren't so tall and the sun is now hitting the grass. There's still a lot of low weeds, these and then these vines. They're a problem, but everything was left here. It should make good carbon for the grass, and we'll just have to wait and see. I have a feeling most of these plants from past experience will just grow back, but we are in the dry season now, so it might die out for now, but I have a feeling this pasture will look exactly the same next year. So, and they don't, here in most of Panama, they use a lot of chemicals, so they don't know really how this will work. I could use just the animals, but I think that'll take years. And my pastures still aren't really small enough, although they're much smaller. But they're not really small enough to do a really good regenerative rotation. So that's where we're at on that pasture. Now this is the pasture right next door that I have been weeding. And I'm gonna take you in a little ways where I've been weeding. The sheep have not been in here in a while. And again, we still have a lot of these low vines that are a problem. But if you look around, it's not all grass. There's a lot of clover. There's still a lot of weeds. You know, I haven't pulled them all out. There's still quite a few weeds. But on this side of the pasture, there's a lot of grass growing. And like I said, there's still weeds. And I think next year we'll have to weed this pasture again. But if we start earlier, we should be in better shape. And then I still have this whole half a pasture that needs to be weeded. I am going to do some of that every day until the ground gets too hard to pull it up. So I do between 1 and 3 wheelbarrow fulls a day. Today I haven't done any. I got attacked by ants while cleaning up the chicken area. I don't know why the chickens don't eat those ants, but they were just, I was cleaning up their manure and the ants were just all over it. Next thing I knew, they were all over the wheelbarrow and the shovel and my arms. So, so I haven't dumped that wheelbarrow yet to bring it in here and weed. Probably won't get any weeding done today, but we'll come back and do some more tomorrow. I am trying to get these plants up before these burrs turn, the seeds mature fully. And I think I've been doing a decent job of that, so I've been attacking that more. And I don't know how well you can see in the picture, but you can see over there it's much higher than it is over here. And the grass is coming up, so it's working. The other thing we'll do is next year we'll rotate better. So the sheep will come in, eat as much grass. It'll help us see the weeds that are mostly popping up, except for this vine that I pointed out, which is very low to the ground. And then we'll be able to weed a little better and start much earlier. So I think that is the plan. I have considered getting pigs and putting them in the pasture and having them help dig up the weeds. But I'm not inclined to get more animals at this point. It's just, I think I have enough work and I have a decent work-life balance, and I'd like to keep it that way. So, so that's where we're at. Thanks for joining us this week. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up. And if you want to follow along, please hit the subscribe button and click the bell so that you're notified when our next video comes out. And if you know anyone else who might be interested in homesteading in Panama, please forward this video along to them. We'll see you next week. Bye.